Well, I'm here in studio. My name is Michael Kipnis, but nobody knows me by my name, Michael Kipnis, or Michael. Everyone calls me the Wiz, if you want to be formal, the Wizard. And I'm here in studio with 35KY Sports, and it's a pleasure to.
What up, world? What up, world? You're listening to 35KY Sports. It's your guy, Murph.
It's your boy, Al.
Man, Al, where can they check out some of 35KY Sports highlights? Social media, wherever you can find what's going on with 35KY Sports. Where we got to go?
Man, I need everybody to go to the 35KY Sports YouTube page, subscribe, like, share those videos. Tons of great content on there currently. Tons of great content will be going up. More SBS Pro workout footage, extended basketball services with some of the top college players in the country. We got Nike EYBL. We have Real Deal Boxing event, the Holyfield highlights going up this week. I'm currently with a host of other great content, Louisville Spring Game highlights. So, get over to that YouTube page, check it out. Check out the Instagram at 35KY Sports. Just all platforms, we there. If it's there, we own it. SoundCloud, iTunes library, you name it, you dig, we own it.
We own it, 35KY Sports. Make sure you're checking us out everywhere. On 35KY Sports, I know one thing that people always say about the show and just the brand is that we always have great guests on the show with us. And today, we got somebody legendary here with us, man.
Yes, we do. It's a very, very special time of the year in the Bluegrass State. It is Derby week in the 502, and you know what time it is. If you didn't know, it's horse racing season. The Kentucky Derby will be ran the first Saturday in May, and we bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the wizard to the 35KY Sports Show, man. He is here to talk horses, talk basketball, talk derby, talk bourbon, whatever you want, and he is going to help us to some horses, the picks, and the game, so you can get your pick on Saturday and know who's going to pick. I need trifectas, I need exactas, I need the daily double, the whole 9 yards. We're going to educate our people, and we're going to talk horses today. Let's go. Welcome, Mr. Kipnis, to the 35KY Sports Show.
Who's Mr. Kipnis? Nobody ever calls me that. I'm the Wizard, man. No one calls me Mr. Kipnis. Get that straight right now.
That'll be the last time. I just had to give the proper name, and now we can get into it. The Wizard, He's my homie now. He's strictly the Wizard. Here on out.
A legend in my own mind, right? What an introduction.
So Wizard, how you doing? How you feeling? You've been in town. You told me since Tuesday. How's it feel to be back in Louisville?
I love Louisville. I feel comfortable here. I'm a New York City rat. Louisville is probably my second home. I've been here several years because my son worked for Coach P at Louisville as a student manager. So I used to come and watch a lot of the practices and the games. And of course, I've gone to the Derby and go to Churchill Downs a lot. And so this is a city I feel comfortable in. I like the people here.
Thank you. Just being a part of the people, I do appreciate that.
Yes.
Kind of just give a little info about your background, your role in the horse racing game, and kind of just let people know what you do.
Well, I've always been kind of a player of horses, and cards, and all that since I was a little kid. And ran a big restaurant in New York City for my family. It was, really world-renowned. I worked there from when I was like 14 years old, and it was down in the theater district. And so I ran that, at the same time I was playing horses and hustling on the streets. And when it was my grandfather's restaurant, and big time. I used to have dinner with some of the greats, Frank Sinatra was a good friend of my grandfather, Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull. My grandfather himself was a Golden Gloves heavyweight champion, same time that LaMotta was middleweight. So I got to know some of the Rat Pack, Sammy Davis. I've had dinner with Lucille Ball. Muhammad Ali would come in. We had a jazz bar.
Man.
So we had a seafood. It was a seafood steakhouse, and I worked my way up, to running the joint and handling all the money. It was big time back then. And my grandfather was more concerned about the theater. He produced Broadway shows. So I was the only guy in the family that cared about the restaurant business. I cared more about taking some of that food home and cooking it, because that was some good shrimp and steak, So, but I had 140 employees. It was a union house. I dealt with high level. So when he passed away, I decided that was it for me for the restaurant business. I want to try something different. So I was going to school. It took me like 10 years to get a 4-year degree because I was moving around different. I didn't want to take business courses, so I just looked for classes where the ratio to women and men was like 30 to 2. So that's why it took me 10 years, So I decided to go into like education degree, which I never did. I never graduated with the degree, I never went into it. Married a woman that is a teacher, but I never, went into that profession. And decided, since I liked horse racing and I liked playing and betting and I like kind of the characters, I like sports. I was played down, I was up a West Side guy in New York City. So I used to play and get my ass kicked a lot by some of these guys, but I used to go watch some of the legends at Rucker Park.
Man, I know you're here for sports racing, but you're from the Mecca of basketball. Like who's the number one point guard ever out of New York City? We always talk about point guards from New York City. Who would you say is at the top of your list?
Well, I mean, I used to see Pearl Washington, and Allen Iverson as kids. Pearl went to Syracuse. Allen Iverson ended up going to 76ers. He used to come up and play at Rucker. Those are the two guys that I would say had the best crossover that I've ever seen. Quick, Allen Iverson had his own style, did, sort of the shoulders, but he'd go one way, you go the other. I saw some of the guys like Ernie the Goat Manigault.
Man,
I saw
that.
I saw the helicopter. I've seen, I lived right across the street from Powell Memorial High School. So I saw Lou Alcindor, he was Kareem, became Kareem, but him and this guy that wrote the book, Tuesday with Maury and 5 People We Meet in Heaven, sports reporter, this white guy, kid, the two. So I used to go on the IRT subway with, back then, Lou Alcindor and his friend. Lou Alcindor would put on a beard, one of these beards, and put scotch tape to the back and tape it onto his face, and they'd hustle 2-on-2 up in Harlem. And for money, and I'd try to get on the right side of cash some coin. So, and then, I lived right where Powell Memorial was, which was 65th Street and Columbus Avenue. Right there was called Lincoln Towers, and that's where the 69 Knicks lived. So you had Willis Reed, Dick Barnett, Dave Stallworth, Mike Reardon, Bill Bradley.
Phil Jackson on that team?
Phil Jackson was on that 69 Knicks. It was coached by Red Holtzman. So I used to go to school. At 69, I was 12 years old. So I used to cut school to go down to Riverside Drive Park, where I used to play too, but they would go there. They'd have a 7 o'clock game at the Garden, the old Garden, and the Rucker boys would come down and play them 5-on-5.
That's crazy.
And they had a 7 o'clock game, and Red Holtzman didn't even know that they were playing, and these Rucker boys would kick their ass sometimes. And so, I got to kind of, I grew up around the street game. I grew up watching, Dr. J. I seen Dr. J when he was young. They went on to the ABA, the old red, white, blue ball, right? I saw some great players. I mean, I was one of these guys that, like, I wasn't that good compared to these guys, but I'd play, and I'd play good defense. I get my ass kicked down on the ground, but pop myself up and just play. So, at my son, who Jeremy, who's now the coach of Aspire, I said, I grew up raised my kids in Connecticut. I lived in Vegas, then I moved to Connecticut. And I said, you want to learn the game, you got to get out of here. And I used to take them to New York City and throw them right into the street, right into the place.
Right to the wolves.
You want to learn ball? You want to learn to be tough? You ain't learning up in Connecticut. You go down where I grew up. And I used to find him a park and park his ass down there and say, play, and play with those sneakers until your feet hurt. Because back then, it was winners stay, losers go home. And you didn't play on courts that were flat and even. There were potholes, man. There were water, right? So if you want to put a guy on his butt, you do a crossover, put him right in the puddle. Right? And so that's how you play. That's how you learn ball. Like now, those games. So I appreciate, guys that play crafty, that know how to shield themselves away from the refs, that know how to play kind of that, the game.
Borderline dirty guys.
Yeah, that's how I played. That's why I love Michael Jordan. I love Jordan.
The
Like that, because those guys were crafty. So, so that's how kind of like played the basketball, street game, played football, played baseball, but horse racing was something I gravitated to.
Where did the the horse racing, the wizard? Where did the name come with the game, man?
Well, my youngest, I have a daughter who's 34, and we used to watch The Wizard of Oz when she was little, and that's when from 1 year when she was like a baby, right? Because I like The Wizard of Oz. I like the Munchkins, and I like the guy. I like the wizard. And the reason I liked the wizard was he kind of orchestrated things behind a curtain. Like nobody knew who he was, right? And so he kind of orchestrated everything. And so I said, that's me, like I like the idea of pulling strings and kind of moving and shaking with nobody knowing who's doing it, I've always been the outsider looking in, and I like it that way. I only pick spots, like I do some media and stuff, but I don't chase it. Like I don't really care, and I like the idea of kind of this building a business kind of behind the scenes, like not having to answer to anybody. Like
That's dope. No, I like that. That's the essence of good business, you know what I'm saying? Being selfless and putting the business of everything first and not, your face, your image trying to be
a lot of people chase their fame.
And doing big things without people knowing you're doing big things, kind of behind the curtain. And that was the wizard. So the wizard, I like the wizard. There's a mystique. And then I created the logo, because my friend back 30-something years ago, the wizard basketball, our Aspire logo is the wizard spinning the basketball, right? Well, the wizard logo in racing is the wizard not spinning a basketball, but looking out of the crystal ball with his binoculars. So I just took the binoculars away, right? Put the finger up and spun a basketball. That's the Aspire logo. That's like, why not?
What now Derby season, is huge around here. Everybody, especially this week, is just gearing up for mint juleps and bourbon and Derby pie and just all types of stuff, man. This is a time where the whole city comes together and parties hard. What are you kind of expecting this Derby as far as the field, and could you kind of educate us on just what goes on within the Kentucky Derby? I mean, if a novice like myself, I don't know a lot about horse racing, so what should I really anticipate Saturday with the Kentucky Derby?
Well, the Kentucky Derby is like, the way I look at it, me personally, like, I'm not here to party. I'm here to make money.
Right.
And I'm also here to make my followers money. Because I've been doing this 30-something years now. And I probably am the most known in what I do in the world. I've raised my family on this. I created it from nothing, which is, like, no one handed me this. Like, I left the restaurant business, like running this big time business, and decided I didn't want to go back in it. I didn't want to be a teacher, so I had to recreate myself. So this is 1986 when I started. So I've stood the test of time doing something that no one's ever done. And I've had to do it through betting, through my information, through my products. People buy my stuff all over the world. When I affect the odds. Think about that. When I tell people who I like in the Derby, those odds drop. I can see the money coming in. So there's all these parties, right, that I'm invited to. And I don't go to any of them. because I'm sitting in my office, where, I'm in the track in the morning, early in the morning, by myself. I know the trainers, I orchestrate, I've managed horses, big time horses, but I do it in solitude. I'm not here to party, I'm here to make money.
Right.
I'm here to do my job and to give the best information, to the people that are paying top dollar for my work. And my reputation, is always on the line. It's like an athlete. It's no different. The loser's locker room is always empty. You know that expression? You're only as good as your last winner.
Right.
But the thing is, I've been doing this 30-something years. And when you've done it that long, people are forgiving. They may curse you out, they may send you email, as long as they don't use profanity, because they use profanity, I shove it right back to them. But if they treat me with respect, which I feel I deserve, I treat them with respect. It's a game. I'm only selling an opinion.
Specifically your product, what is it that you offer?
Well, I offer analysis on, it's just not the Derby, it's every day. 5 days a week I have a staff, also underground. Like, no one knows these guys. Like, I don't even know them. I mean, like, these guys have been with me 20 years. Half of them I don't even know. I've never seen them. Because I deal with them on the phone, right? They know what I want to do. I teach them, and then I let them be. Because I let them make their own mistakes. Then no one leaves me, because I don't bust them at all. Like, they know what I expect. I'm a man of few words. I tell you what I want, it's done, I pay on time, and they produce. That's it. So I don't know half of these guys, but they're part of my staff, right? I got one person that's left me in 20-something years, and I fired him. That's it. So I produce products, and I'm an independent contract, only one, for the Daily Racing Form. And the Daily Racing Form is the Bible of racing. And so it's under the Wizard products. So my stuff is sold. So you pay top dollar for it, And they say I'm cracked for the gambler. And what I mean by that is that you want to buy the Wizard, because when the Wizard is cold, right, you don't want to miss when the Wizard gets hot. So you just buy it, right? And so as long as I put my effort, my people know that my effort's there, because I write this analysis that no one could write. I spend hours. I care about. You know what it is? It's like like Pablo Picasso, a painter, right? Or Michelangelo did the Sistine Chapel on his back. You do it for you. Like, I do this work for me, and it's out there for sale. You can buy it or don't buy it, but I'm doing it. I'm creating art. It's in words. It's a feel, right? So I'll probably, when I die, I'll be more appreciated than when I'm alive for what I do. And I'm okay with that, as long as I'm cashing tickets and I'm putting some shekels in my pocket. So I produce these products that people buy. And, basically I don't know how most of these people buy them. It's on the internet. Some of my products are $30, $25. I have a cut with the Racing Form. But I know I've been around 30-something years. So when people stop buying, right, then I'll come work for you guys, or I'll look for another job. You know what I mean? But until they keep buying, I must be doing something right.
So is it so I've been to the track, I got a little experience. I actually worked at the track back in the day when I was young, so I got a little bit with the horse game. So I can buy it when I go to the track on Derby Day or Oaks Day, the tip sheet that,
Not at the track.
Okay, you can't get it at the track.
No, you got to go to drf.com /wizard.
Okay.
Or you got to look for, the Wizard online, and you
Gotcha.
buy it there.
Okay.
I let them, they handle all of it. They're the Bible of racing, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have phone clients. I got one guy that I allow to call me because he got special needs, and he never uses a computer. And I just like the guy, right? So I let him call me. He calls me. Matter of fact, he's called me while I'm on it. He goes to voicemail. But I charge him half the price. He puts a money order in, right? He gets I charge him like $5 for something like $15.